Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the United Stand. I'm your host, Jay Daly. So tonight's show, we want to take a look at Villarreal, the Europa League final next Wednesday. And we also want to have a brief chat about team selection tomorrow. How heavily rotated will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer go? And we all have obviously diverse opinions on that, as we do on most topics. I don't know if you watched the Kevin and Jay show, that the love story, The Notebook, during the week, but Kevin and I were in agreement on the fact that the importance of winning this Europa League cannot be lost on the fan base. Back in '91, when United won the old Cup Winners' Cup, that was literally a catalyst, because that was the first time since 1985 that English clubs were playing European football again. So first year back in European football, United win the Cup Winners' Cup from 2 goals scored by Mark Hughes. And then, lo and behold, guys, 2 years later, we're winning our first league title since the 60s. 94, we win a double. 96, we win a double. And 99 is a triple. So the gravitas of this Europa League final cannot be lost on anyone, the fan base. And anyone that's still going along the line of it's only the Europa League, it's a trophy. And it is imperative that we win this trophy, because I've said in the show many, many times that in professional sports, winning is infectious. And we're up against Unai Emery, who has won this trophy 4 times. He's been in 6 semi-finals. And I don't know about the rest of the panel, but I'm filled with a lot of trepidation for Wednesday night. A team that has never won a big title in Spain. They got promoted in 2013. They're known in Spain as the Yellow Submarine. And, I know what people are saying. They're only 7th in La Liga, but they have put all their eggs in the Europa League basket since they got to the last 16. So I don't believe for 1 second, unlike some of the pundits, we should be taking Villarreal lightly whatsoever. This is going to be a very, very tough final. Kevin, what do you think?
Totally agree, mate, with the sentiment of 91 Rotterdam and how it transformed Manchester United into basically being the team that we become through the 90s of winning trophies. It was a springboard for European success, no matter what anybody says. And exactly how you say it now is a lot of rival fans will be looking at Manchester United being in a Europa League final and going, oh, it's a Tin Pot Cup, it's this, it's that. This cup, for me, is huge for our season. Getting this first trophy under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a huge, huge thing. We've heard all the thing about us dropping out of semi-finals, all the jokes about Viagra and all that, all right, do one. But you put yourself, right, in the place of an Arsenal fan. How much would they have wanted to get to a Europa League final this year? And this is where our standards and the way we look at this Europa League campaign this season is the fact that we've already succeeded in getting Champions League football next season by finishing second. If we hadn't, and like under Jose Mourinho, when we put all our eggs in one basket to finish, it's literally, everything was on winning the Europa League final. This season, it's not. And I'm not saying it's a free hit for Solskjaer, but it's almost like this would be the kind of icing on the cake kind of thing. It's like, well, listen, we don't need it that much, but it would mean a lot because Solskjaer hasn't won a trophy at United. And I think it's a real big thing, But the fact that we've got second, it's that kind of question, isn't it? And you can throw it out, Jay. You can say, well, listen, if we weren't in second place, let's say we're in 5th or 6th, no chance of competing or getting into the Champions League, this would be a total different ball game altogether. You could actually throw the question out and say, well, if it all went down to Wednesday night and we lose this game, would Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still be in a job at Manchester United? And there would be question marks.
That's a very pertinent point. Question marks if we fail to win on Wednesday. It's definitely not a free hit for the players and the manager, but I don't believe for 1 second that Solskjaer will be sacked should we fail to win, because he secured Champions League football, and that's the business model of the Glazers. I don't think for 1 second he'd be sacked. But take your point, there will certainly be a large portion of the fan base that if we don't win, it's going to be back to he's a PE teacher. What do you expect? He's up against a tactical genius in Unai Emery. And yeah, I've looked closely at Emery's tactics and discussed that in a while. If he pulls this off against Emery, I think we can no longer call him a PE teacher, because Emery tactics, they are a level above Solskjaer's, in my opinion. Beth, what are you thinking? Wednesday night? Are you confident?
I think it's going to be a tough game for one, especially because Maguire's out. I mean, I was watching a little bit of the Villarreal Real Madrid game, and they look all right. Like, the people that are writing them off a lot more than what I think the credit is due with them. I think they managed to beat Arsenal, and I know Arsenal are crap this season, but they're still like a Premier League side. They're still classified as one of the big six. And I thought Arsenal was going to win that game, and they beat them, so they overcame that challenge. And now they've got to play us, who's on a bad run of form. Let's be honest. What is it? Lose, draw. Like, that's not a great run of form for us. We're without our captain. We're without our best defender, and I think it'll be a tough game. I think we'll manage to win it, because I think Solskjaer has to win it, because the amount of semi-finals and he's been so close to a lot of trophies and he's still not won one yet with the club. I think he kind of has to win it for his managerial career. Do I think he'll be sacked if he doesn't win it? No, I don't, because he's got Champions League football. And not only that, he's gone from third to second, an improvement on points. It is a slight improvement. And City are miles ahead of any other team. So you can't really expect this United team to go and get first this season. So I don't think he should be sacked. But do I think it's extremely important he wins this trophy, especially in the Europa League, when in reality this team should be in the Champions League? Yes, I do. I think he's got to win it. I think he's got to win this trophy from how far we've come and how many opportunities to win a trophy we've lost through bad mentality and playing it safe sometimes. I think that's how we've managed to drop out of these cups. And I think for this team to go and progress, they've got to get the winning mentality, and getting a trophy for young players and all his team, which is building, would be really important to try and push on next season.
Spot on, Beth. Alex, I'll come to you next after your super chats. Shane B has thrown €2 into the pot. Only out if we don't win on Wednesday. Okay, Shane. And there is also Shane's up there again. And Mark Dubby, his £5, give the team a chance to get used to their Europa League surroundings. Because after the owners don't back Ole, we'll be back there next season. Very polemic.
Positivity.
Alex,
love it.
are we going to be back playing Europa League football again in 2022?
Oh God, I really, really hope not. With this season, it's like, I wouldn't think we would be ready to get to like a Champions League final with this current team. But then when you see how the other teams did, like Chelsea, we're above Chelsea in the table, and then Chelsea are in a Champions League final. So that's what the really, really frustrating thing is, that like, I don't think we're the best team in Europe or something, but we are a lot better than this competition. With regards to Villarreal, they're definitely not going to be a pushover. Obviously, they ended up losing to Real Madrid, but they were beating them during the game. And then obviously they knocked Arsenal out. But then if you look at it, from a logical sense point, without obviously, I haven't seen like much of them apart from the Arsenal game this season, but we did beat Real Sociedad, who last time I checked anyway are still above them in the league. So we have faced tough times. You'd think really on paper, looking at how they were playing this season as well, AC Milan would be a better team. So if we were, the thing that's worrying everyone, and understandably because it's worrying me as well, is because it's a final. But if we were to play them in like the last 16 or something, I don't think anyone would really be stressed about us going through. We'd expect to go through really. But the massive thing is obviously Maguire missing. We've seen recently how we've been playing without him. And another thing that was interesting was how La Liga moved back their game by the whole league's games back by 24 hours to give them extra time to prepare, which the Premier League has a team in the Europa League final and 2 teams in the Champions League final and still wouldn't do that. It's like they don't want their own teams to succeed. So we are at disadvantage to that. And I don't know fully, but someone wrote me on Twitter saying that Villarreal actually put out their reserves today, which worries me as well, because obviously we're going to talk later about the team we put out for Wolves, but it depends. You know, with Ollie, it wouldn't surprise me if he did put out a fairly strong team.
Yeah, that's indicative of La Liga. It's a very one for all for one concept. And if and when a Spanish team reaches a European final, historically, they've always done that because they obviously see it as success for their league. And the last couple of years, we've all seen, I suppose, the La Liga standards have dropped a little bit. You know, the Real Madrid are no longer the Real Madrid that they were when they won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. Barcelona overshadowed them former selves, but still, La Liga see Villarreal, who, let's be fair, Villarreal only got re-promoted in 2013. They're like a second string team, and the Liga still, the organizers, okay, it's one of our own. We've got to give them every opportunity to have another Spanish team in the European Cup next year. So it's a Spanish thing. The Premiership should do it, but they won't do it. Jordan, what's your take on this? The fact that the Spanish league authorities allow their teams a much better fighting chance than what the Premier League does.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't really hear the end of that, but I guess it was to do with the Spanish thing, right, guys? Sorry,
yes,
Jay,
correct,
I didn't
correct,
hear you.
Jordan, correct. It's okay.
Yeah, I think we again in this country we're very much dictated to by the TV companies. It's a business, and that's obviously how it's been manipulated, that they want all the teams to play at the same time on Sunday and create that whole Super Sunday element, and that's what we're sort of dictated to. So unfortunately, it always seems to be the way with us. We don't look after our own, the same reason why we don't have a winter break. And as much as we all sit back over Christmas and we love the fact that there's a game every other day, it really isn't good for our teams. And it also then has a knock-on effect to the Champions League, you know, the end of the group stages. We're knackered, and the European teams seem to be well rested and usually come out firing. I remember going back when Sir Alex was in charge, and he used to try and give some of the players that period off over Christmas and games. I remember the way he used to manage Ronaldo, because the European players were used to getting that rest. So yeah, it is disappointing, but you know, we know it's happening, and this is the reason why we have to use our squad, the importance of having a squad. So that knock-on effect earlier in the season where certain players should have had games that haven't had games to try and save legs because it is a longer season. So on that point, I want to take us back to when we went out of the Champions League. You know, 38 games to get into the Champions League, and it took us 6 games to get knocked out. And at that time, my feeling on the Europa League was, look, knock on the head, I'm not interested. It takes its toll on you playing Thursday and Sunday. Let's forget about it as a competition. Let's focus on putting a proper title race together, trying to win the league, because, you know, I'm like you guys, the thing we want to win most is that league back. And then if we can win a cup as well, then let's go for the cup competitions. So the Europa League, for me, probably was my least priority to win. I don't know how everybody else feels. But you know, as the rounds move on and we're picking up wins and we've got closer to the final, you actually start looking at it and you're like, do you know what? I want to win it. So we're at this point now. We've got Wolves tomorrow, the final next week. And I'll tell you something, I want to win it more than anything right now, because it's the only thing we can win. And it's not going to be easy.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, carry on. I was just going to say.
I was the exact same. I was as bad as you, Jordan, right? After we got knocked out by Leipzig, I was on my first show, and I went off on a mad rant, and I was like, I'm not watching this Europa League crap. I'm not watching football on a Thursday night. I went off on a mad one. And all of a sudden, we're in last 16, and I get sucked into it. And now I'm all in the final, and I want us to win. It's a trophy. It's not a Champions League trophy, yes, but it's a goddamn trophy. And as Kevin alluded to at the start, it's imperative we win it, because winning's infectious. Yeah. You want to win.
And something else, you know, you look at some of those players that haven't won silverware for us, but also I look at Ollie. Now, this situation, you're going back to the title of the show. Ollie is in the Moyes bracket of management at United, where he hasn't won anything. We can say what we want to say about Jose, say what we want to say about Van Gaal. They won silverware for us, guys. So as much as we want it as fans, Ollie needs it for himself. So I don't know what you guys think about that.
Joe, take it up.
Yeah.
Is Ole David Moyes?
Oh, please, please.
Whoa,
Jay, please.
Jay,
Oh, my
didn't say
God.
that.
My soul is burning alive after you put that sentence together.
Jay, you throw me right into the bus there. No, listen, I didn't say Ollie was Moyes. I said he's in the same bracket as Moyes, where he
That's as
hasn't
bad.
won silver. I want to clear that up because I can see the people in the free seats with dagger emojis ready to stab the Welshman in his back. So, listen, let's clear that up.
Let's be fair. I did Jordan there. Let's be fair. I did Jordan there. I did you there.
Don't forget, David Moyes does have a charity shield, and Jose Mourinho counted that towards his treble. So, no, I would say on the trophy hunt aspect, I think this is the most important game for is Ollie himself, because I think obviously we all want to win. I'm dying to win the Europa League. It was always got kind of annoyed that we never took it seriously enough, because I think it's a European trophy, and for me the European trophies mean the most, aside from obviously the league as well. Do you know what I mean? But like for me, even Europa League means more than the League Cup and the FA Cup. I just think, and it always annoyed me that we don't have 2 or 3 of them in the bag from the past 40 or 50 years. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's an absolute vital game, especially for Ollie, because he needs to get. I don't think the PE teacher thing will stop that soon, but I think it will help it. I think it'll legitimize him as a manager. He says, "I have this," and I would give both my arms to take away the FA Cup from Louis van Gaal and give it to Ollie and for Jose Mourinho. I think it's huge for him, and I think we'll see how we can progress on then from next season if we get this in the bag. But I am, unlike you guys here, I'm actually very confident. I just think we have a better squad, a better team. I think, as Jay rightly said, the only kind of stickling point is this is Unai Emery's tournament. Do you know, he is like the expert at it. So he might pull something out of the bag, but I think across everything, I think we're a better team. I think the huge factor as well is the factor of missing Harry Maguire. I think if we had him, I think for me, it's just 1-to-1 odds on that we were going to get this trophy over the line. But I think the factor of missing him, we're seeing how vital he is. That's my big fear would be Unai Emery pulling a masterclass and the fact we're missing our linchpin at the back.
Jay,
Sorry,
can I just
jump in on that just quickly about hello, you got me? Yeah, I just want to say they are very beatable. You know, they've lost 10 games this season, but Emery will have them set up very well. And
yes,
he sticks 10 men behind the ball. That's the type of team that we struggle against. What we can't afford to do is to go goal down, and like we've sort of this attitude this season where it doesn't matter if we go goal down, 2 goals down, we always come back. Well, there's going to come a time when we're not going to come back, and we can't go into the final with that attitude.
Yes, I completely agree. And it's also we say like they are 7th. I don't think that changed until 7th. Like we know they beat Arsenal. Arsenal are also 7th. We're 2nd. We're superior to them across pretty much every front. There was no reason why we should fear them, and also there's no reason why they should fear us, because we do have a goal, that hole in the back line at the moment. So I think it'll. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that 7th place, though, as people were saying, it's now extra motivation for them, because they, as things stand, they haven't got European football next season. So the only way to get it is by beating us. So they're going to be like hyper motivated for it now.
Guys, the super chats here, I want to go through them and then we'll continue. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so super chat there is asking us who would be our dream signing, and that goes to everybody on the panel. There we are, £5 from East Kimmage. I would let go of Pogba if I have to for him. Paul Tarr is a very good centre back and impressive today. So we'll just go around the table. One name and why. Kev, dream signing.
Mbappe. Oh, why as well? Just
That speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Joe.
dream
Kante.
signing, yeah.
N'Golo
Dream.
Kante, even at like obviously a couple of years ago, I wish we could have got him when he was leaving Leicester. But what a find! What an absolute the heart and soul of every team he plays for, and just I think his quality is even underrated. Even though I think people are really starting to appreciate him, what a driving force he is. And I think in our team he could do absolute wonders for us. And I have a feeling we could have got him last year as well. So it hurts me that we don't have him, but I think he's absolute world class, and I wish we had him.
Jordan.
Yeah, I actually got to agree. I was going to say Kante as well. I feel like a world-class CDM will give the freedom to the players ahead of him to be able to express themselves and play to their full potential. I really feel like a lot of those attacking players are playing sort of 70% because the 30% of their mindset is thinking, shit, I got to get back because I've got 2 sandbags in the middle. So I really feel like, Kante would just give that freedom for players to excel.
Yeah.
Beth.
I'm going to have to go with Kev. My dream sign, if I could get anyone, it'd have to be Mbappe. I think he's one of the best players in the world. And I think with him in your team, Bruno feeding him balls, it would be different. I think it'd be amazing. Realistically, for this season, probably a Sancho or something like that. I know we need a defender, but I just think Sancho is one of the best English young forwards that we've got, especially on the wing. I know he's only played in the Bundesliga, but I think when it comes to the Prem, I do think he will be able to crack the Prem, which some people are kind of wary about. But dream would be Mbappe. This season, I think it would have to be Sancho.
Alex.
I think Kimmich is actually a brilliant choice. I think he'd be absolutely perfect for the midfield. And he's such a massive part of Bayern's dominance.
Can I just say on Kante, one final point. He's like the nicest man in the world. And can you imagine having Kante, Mata, and Rashford feeding kids in the one team? Everyone would adore us. It'd be the first time in history. So I'm just saying, throwing it out there, Jay, before you make your decision. We could be Nice Guy FC.
My dream signing, guys. Remember, the key word there was dream. My dream signing would be a clone of Roy Keane, but it doesn't exist.
That's a better answer.
But I got to pick go ahead, Kev. Go ahead.
Hey, the right answer is, if we're asking for a dream signing, is new owners or decent owners.
Boom.
I just had time to think, and I'm like,
okay. I put it here with Tino, and then Kev just jumps in and just ups the level a tiny little bit. So he's done me there. He's done me. Super chat here from Mark Dobby. I believe we will win. Good positivity. My only concern is the mentality of the team. Mine too. We have seen so many times under Ole when we turn up to big games and we look lost. Beth, respond to that.
I agree.
Lost in big games.
I think there's a lot of semi-finals that we've had where mentality-wise we struggled. I know a lot of them have been against top teams such as Manchester City, and they are obviously going to be a struggle, but I still think we're capable of beating Manchester City. We've beat them in the league plenty of times. Why you can't do that in a cup final? To me, that comes down to mentality, because I think Ole has kind of got the coaching to beat Man City. We've seen it happen before. And then especially, I know people are saying Villarreal, like, they're beatable. Sevilla is another one that I think were beatable. Probably a better team than Villarreal, yes. But I thought they were very beatable. I thought we were going to go through that into the final. And look what happens. We lost. This is the kind of thing that the team has been labelled under Ole to not have the winning mentality. And you can't blame the people that have labelled that, because this team have proved it time and time again that that's happened. Look at the FA Cup against Chelsea. Well, that was a disaster. Each time we've stumbled, we've failed, we've gone out and we've looked nervous. We've not held the ball properly, and we've not played the football that we know the team is capable of playing. And that does come down to mentality. And if you've got that winning mentality, you go out there, you play your football. But I do think the teams get stuck under the pressure sometimes, and that's what happens. And I'm just really hoping that if you beat Villarreal in this final, that's going to kind of start to go away. And the mentality shifts into, we can beat teams, we can win trophies. And this is the type of team we are under Ole. I think it's going to be a hard one because, as Jordan said, they're going to put 10 men behind the ball, and they're very, very good defensively. As I was watching against Real Madrid, I know they got beat in the end, but defensively, they are pretty sound. Like, Pau Torres is a good defender, and we're going to struggle to break that down. But hopefully, if we can get one goal and kind of hold our own, which we struggle to do with the defence that we've got without Maguire, we can win it. So that's the only reason I'm a little bit nervous, is because set pieces, and if they get through on the counter-attack, we're going to be screwed in that sense. But I do trust the team to score goals. It's just whether they nick one and then put 10 men behind the ball, and that's when we could struggle. We'd struggle against that, against any team. I mean, look at Fulham, we drew with them. Like, we can't underestimate the different teams. It all depends on what Manchester United turns up on the day. And that's what we mean about the consistency with this team. And that's why we're not absolutely sure going into games yet.
Can I come in there quick?
Sorry, just 1 second. I just want to do this. Sorry. Last season, in the last 8 against Copenhagen, we won 1-0, and we struggled to break down a Danish team sitting in a low block. And that has been the bugbear of my watching of Solskjaer's tactics. Low block, he struggles to break it down because I don't believe he has the creativity in the midfield. And that against Copenhagen, now the free seats will probably correct me. If I'm not mistaken, it was Pogba and Matic in that midfield. I may be wrong, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. So I do believe Villarreal are going to be very tough to break down, and we're going to discuss Villarreal in a second. There's a super comment here from Jermaine Johnson. Villarreal are better side against Real Madrid for the first half today. Knowing Ole, we will play the same, no changes, no nothing. Ole has no clue. Jordan, you want to respond to that, mate? Does Ole have a clue, Jordan?
Does Ole have a clue? I think this season it's been really hit and miss, and this is the thing: we have closed the gap this year, but we have to ask ourselves the reasons why we've closed the gap. And I feel like he has shown a lack of tactical nous at certain points, but we also understand that we have a manager that is learning on the job. He doesn't have the experience to manage a club as big as Manchester United. So we have to show patience and understand that at times that he is going to let us down and will ultimately be responsible for certain defeats. I feel that was some of the things, Fred as an example in the Champions League, that's the big one that really stands out for me. The entire world could see Fred was going to get sent off. Ollie was sat in the dugout, didn't drag him off, came back to bite us in the arse. So yeah, he is learning on the job. We have to give him the patience, and I feel like winning that trophy next week will fill him with confidence that he will then feel like, you know what, I am on the right track. I can do this, and will take us into next season. Hopefully, we can put together a proper title challenge. So yeah, in answer to the question, in short, yes, he does have a clue, but not a great clue.
Good answer. Good answer. I now want to go into a little bit on our opponents, Villarreal, a bit more in depth. As we know, their striker, Gerard Moreno, 29 goals this season, 10 assists. Nippy guy. And he is only second to Messi in La Liga goal scoring. So clearly, lads, he's 29 goals, 10 assists. He can't be that bad, lads. Just be fair.
I meant that other guy, who's that?
Oh, the Messi chap. Yeah, he's a bit in the small side. He needs to bulk up. A bit in the small side. To be fair, that lad. But
Lingard.
Messi Lingard. Hey, Messi Lingard, right?
Yeah.
If you started the season in January, there's an argument that Messi Lingard was up there for one of the players of the season. If the season was from January to now. Jesse Lingard, lads, he's been phenomenal. He has. Let's give him credit. I think, guys, absolutely. A lot of fan base have slagged off Jesse for years, right? Rightly or wrongly, everyone has their opinion. But what Lingard has done at West Ham, none of us could have foreseen. Now, do I think Lingard could come back and fight Bruno for number 10? No, I don't. I don't. But I think as a fan base, we should put respect on Jesse Lingard's name once and for all, to be fair. I do. That's my personal belief. So, Villarreal, I listened to an interview today with Abiol, but it was in Spanish. So, to paraphrase, he doesn't fear us at all. Not in the slow. He was asked by a reporter, do you fear the game against Wednesday? And he said, what's fear? Fear is for losers. We're here to win. And I think it was a perfect response, because fear is for losers. It definitely is. So Mr. Emery, he was flagged off an awful lot by the English media when he was Arsenal manager, primarily because English wasn't his first language. Okay. And as usual, the insular English media, whenever there's a foreign person to give an interview, they're not going to get perfect diction and grammatical responses from a manager. They're not. I thought they were very unfair to him in the media. You can't argue with a man that has won 4 Europa Leagues. I think you have to have respect on him. So his setup, and I quote myself, I have it here in my notes, and I got to read directly because there was so much stuff. There was a point this season in La Liga, he went 19 games unbeaten. And in that 19 games, that included Real Madrid and Barcelona. They play predominantly in a 4-1-4-1, which transitions to a 4-4-2. What they do is he sends one fullback forward because they basically don't have any wingers. So one fullback goes forward down the flank, and the other fullback then slips into midfield to act as a three-beside pivot. They've got Danny Parejo from Valencia, who plays in their midfield pivot. And then Emery brought Iborra, who he had playing for him in Sevilla, over to Villarreal. So with Iborra and Danny Parejo in that midfield, that is a better midfield, lads, than McFred. Far better midfield, far better passing range. And those two, I think, if he starts McFred, will run rings around McFred. From what I've seen of Villarreal this season and known how good Danny Parejo has been at Valencia, those two against McFred, I would be worried. I would much rather Matic to be in that midfield to negate Parejo. But if I see McFred up against those two, for me, lads, that's going to be alarm bells. Also, because they don't have wingers per se, all their attack is centrally, which means then the pressure is going to be put on Victor Lindelof. And I believe they will put pressure on him all night, because I think Emery will target him, in my opinion, because he's a very smart manager. Then the backup then beside Mr. Moreno, they have options then between Nino and a lad called Moy Gomez, who can play as a false 9 or as a cam. So any of the pundits that are writing off Villarreal, they haven't watched Villarreal. Now, I'm not saying I watch Villarreal every week, lads. Of course I haven't. But I watched them in the Europa League, and I went back looking at clips of these players. And I think they will control possession like all Spanish teams do. So if that's the case, we're in trouble. I'm sorry. Okay, our strikers are far superior. There's no question about it. We can get at their full backs, win the transition from the 4-1-4-1 to 4-4-2. But I am worried, lads. Who wants to jump in first on Villarreal?
Jay, just before you throw that out, just 2 super chats really quickly to get through to, and then you can throw it out to the panelists. UFC says, if Ollie was managing Spurs and got Spurs to top 4 finish and Europa League final, will you guys want him as manager for Man United?
No.
Well said, Jordan.
Well, it depends if he was still if he'd been a United player or if he'd been a Spurs player.
Is he just, if it's just like insert manager here with that success? Like, no.
Actually, that's a very good point. How much of almost a free ride does Solskjaer get in the fan base because he is a club legend? If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had never played for the club, and say he was a Spanish, Italian, or French manager to come in, would we be as acceptable of this 4-2-3-1 constant formation, the playing of McFred, the lack of rotation in the squad over the course of the season, which has bit us in the ass, guys, in May, 1 point out of 9, and would we be acceptable to his lack of in-game management?
I think
it
works both ways. I think he gets a lot of critics because he's a United ex-player. I think he does get it through that sense. But at the same time, I do think he gets let off the hook a lot because people have a soft spot for him because he was a United player. Is he United great in my opinion? We know what happened with his winning goal and everything like that. So I think it works both ways. I think other teams constantly write him off because they think he's a PE teacher and he only got the job because he is an ex-player. But at the same time, he gets that off the hook because of the same reason. So I think it's kind of, what's the phrase for it?
I think it evens out for me.
Yeah, that's the one. It evens out. So I think it works both ways.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think like for the kind of criticisms he gets wouldn't be the same criticisms another manager would get in that position he's in. And then the positives he gets are from the same sort of thing. So I think no matter who he is and he's doing the job he is, I think he's getting criticized for doing it and he's getting positives from it, but it might be from different places. I don't know if that was English at all.
Jordan, what's your take on this, Jordan?
Yeah, let me jump in on that. I tell you something else. What else has helped him this season? The fact there's no fans in Old Trafford. Them 6 losses at home, and some of the way we've played this season at home, going behind, nicking a draw, plus those losses, the fans would have been on his back differently. I think that has really helped him this season and really given him chance to sort of bed into management. You've got to look at his CV, guys. It ain't great. And I'm a Cardiff boy. I remember when he took over at Cardiff, and they're my local team. I know a lot of the guys down there and still do. And he single-handedly relegated that Cardiff side. When he took them over, they weren't in relegation form. Malky was there. He didn't leave for footballing reasons. There was reasons why he moved on. So he inherited a team which I think under Malky would have stayed up. And ultimately he took him down. Okay. When he took the caretaker's job, a lot of people said to me, you must be worried. You must be worried that he's now at Old Trafford. And I was massively concerned. But when he came in, it was good vibes and high fives, and we went on an unbelievable run. But the periods of games that we've lost, it has been a real roller coaster with Ollie. And if it was anyone else, he would have been long gone. And that's why he's really divided opinion. I feel like he's the first manager that's well and truly divided opinion. When it was time for Moyes to go or Van Gaal, I think everybody was universally like, yeah, okay, he needs to go. But the fact that Ollie's the 4th manager after Sir Alex, that's also bought him time alongside being a legend.
Jordan, I'd have to disagree. Sorry,
yeah,
I don't.
Go.
Yeah, because he's growing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're seeing it mightn't be trophies that we had under Mourinho, but we also didn't hate the football we were playing the majority of the time, and the players looked like they enjoyed what they were doing, and like we're getting, whether you want to rank Champions League football as progression, but the fact we're going from 3rd to 2nd, we're progressing in cup competitions, and we're majority of the time I think we're actually playing good football, and we're beating teams that we should be beating, and we're beating them the right way. So like I think there is growth there. I genuinely don't think if he was insert manager here, whatever you want to say, with the progression he's doing, I don't think he would have been sacked at all. I think we finished 6th, obviously at the end of his first season, but I think they saw in his interim managementship that like he can get a tune out with this squad, but they're not his players. And what happens when they don't back him? He still gets 2nd place. Do you know, he wasn't back last summer. And like I know Cavani turned out to be great, but like he didn't get any players he wanted. So I think what he's done this season has been incredible, if I'm being honest. The fact he got 2nd, the fact if we can end with a European trophy has been, from where we started, I didn't think we'd get top 6. And I wasn't blaming Ollie for that, I blame management. Yeah. So for the fact he's done what he's done now, I think he's being shafted if he's being negatively looked at.
Okay, Alex, to respond to that, Alex.
I completely agree. I think if he wasn't an ex-United player, I still don't think he would have been sacked. He's the first manager we've had that's got Champions League twice in a row. Like I said, it isn't an achievement, but the fact that it's the first time we've got back-to-back Champions League shows that there is progression. Last season, I'm not sure about this season, but last season we had the youngest team in the entire league. Like under Jose, he was just building a team for short-term success. It was like he was bringing in the likes of Zlatan, and then we were linked with like Perisic, players like that. He was going to swap Martial for Willian. So he was trying to get like these established, experienced players. With Ollie, he's building a young team. He's incorporating the youth, but not just like, I feel like Van Gaal at times, like with the likes of like Donald Love and Paddy McNair and stuff, was just throwing in like basically any youth player, whereas Ollie is actually bringing in the good ones and integrating them at the right place. We've seen with Mason Greenwood how well he's been integrated into the squad under Ollie. If we would have had another manager, who knows what would happen with him? He might have just been shipped out on loan or stuff like that, and then we would lose an absolute gem. And now we see with the game tomorrow that he's going to give the likes of Hannibal a debut. He's giving Shoretira a debut. And so stuff like that, like integrating the youth, if we come 2nd and win the Europa League, I don't think that it's disputable that it's been our best season. Like people say about Jose winning two trophies in one season, but he also came 6th that season. This, I think, from a success. And obviously, Ollie even says himself, it isn't the level that we want to be at, but I still think it is our best season post-Fergie if we manage to do it. And like I said, the back-to-back Champions League, and then we go into next season is the season that he has to be judged. If he gets the signings that he wants, like a Sancho and all them, then he's judged. And if we don't challenge, then questions need to be asked. Not this one, in my opinion.
That's a very good point. In his latest interview, he acknowledged the fact that we are where we are, but it's not where we should be. He actually openly acknowledged it on his interview. And it's the first time also in an interview that he actually said openly, to get to the next level, I need 2 to 3 players additionally. It's the first time he's ever said that publicly. Because previous to that, he was almost, yeah, we're happy with what we have. I'm happy with my squad. Because he knew he was getting nobody. So that straight away is sending out a subliminal message to the fan base. Listen, relax the cax, lads. We are getting players. Whom we're getting, well, that's open to debate. But we are getting players.
Like when he said that, it sounded actually like he was talking about first-team players for once and not just squad players. Like
the super chats here that I want to go through. Roland Jacob. Clubs played last game with fans, but no manager spoke to the fans, but Ole did. Ole trusts his players this season. As till transfer window is open, he has to show trust in them to get results out of them. Okay, fair point. And there's another one here from Amidor Rashid, £5. I am for Ole, for the rebuild, but not to win the league. Next season, if he gets backed and we regress in our shape and style of play, then what? That's exactly what Alex just said. So that's a very pertinent super chat. So guys, I want to move on now from Villarreal and from our manager. I want to discuss tomorrow. How heavily of our rotated squad are you happy with tomorrow? And is tomorrow a free hit? We are going to finish second, irrespective of the results from Chelsea and Leicester. We're on 71 points. So is tomorrow another free hit? Because we get a free hit against Leicester. Are you guys okay with a possible loss tomorrow against Wolves if it's the same type of squad that we saw against Leicester? Kevin, do you want to go first?
Yes, mate. Not a bother taking that one. I want to see Manchester, well, as a United fan anyway, I want to see United win. Now, listen, if it was the last day of the season and we didn't have a Europa League final coming up, again, I'm going to say the same thing again, cigars out, whatever, inflatable unicorns on the side of the pitch, they're on the beach and all that shit. I know we're not used to it because we're used to being fighting for titles and stuff, but this is totally different. We need to go into this final with some kind of confidence, and we've not had it. We got the job done against Roma, but we still got beat in the away leg. We got beat against Leicester. We've got beat against Liverpool. We've drawn against Fulham, who were relegated, nothing to play for. So in that sense, and again, at the sense of repeating myself, come on. And we need to look at this game and take some into it. Because let's just say, for instance, man, we lose this game tomorrow, 2-0, 3-0, actually get played off the park or whatever. We're going into a one-off game against Villarreal thinking, Jesus Christ, man, we're not flying. We're not like it. We just need to go into this game with some kind of confidence. And it's a tough one now because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made his decision to weaken the squad against Leicester, then improve it against Liverpool. So when we come into the game tomorrow, he's got big decisions. Personally, you wrap Eddie Cavani in cotton wool, you put him in some kind, you just lock him away, and say, have a great night's sleep. We'll see you on Wednesday night. Leave him to one side. Bruno is an exception. As much as I'd like to wrap him in cotton wool, he comes across as the kind of character, a bit like Wayne Rooney in his prime. He'd literally, even if he said, no, you're not, I'll play in goal. He just wants to play football. So there's a lot of players he needs to look at. There's some players that he might still be looking at. Tuanzebe, maybe thinking he might have a say, coming in because Harry Maguire's out. But the team, it doesn't pick itself for me. I think there should be players in there on merit. And I'm looking for players to stand up. That's what I've been disappointed with in the Fulham game, because I'm looking and thinking, this was your big chance, man. You could have been playing in this Europa League final. So we will have to see. But I think my main thing on that is wrap Eddie Cavani up in cotton wool, put him to one side.
Yeah. I'm just going to read a super chat here, and then go to you, Beth, and you can respond to what Kevin said, and even maybe give us your preferred 11 tomorrow. You're the manager. You're picking the team. Who will you pick? Mikael Roach says, big up guys, great show. I'm pushing my luck 4 players for Ole. Well, as Jordan and I said a couple of shows back, we actually want 7 or 8 players, but it ain't going to happen. Siggy Johnson says, United have not improved this year. Okay. Lampard's inexperience and Liverpool's many injuries save second place. No such luck next year. I actually would agree with that comment wholeheartedly. Second place is fantastic. But Liverpool, as I said in the last show, the worst title defence since Andy Uriz got even fatter and got smacked by Anthony Joshua. Who would have thought that Frank Lampard getting 6 or 7 FIFA signings, he literally wasn't able to cut the cloth. So yeah, Liverpool next season strengthen. Man City will strengthen. So Ole has to get his 2 or 3 players. Another one here from Johnny Moss. Seamus Coleman is the man to bring us silverware.
That must be your missus. That is your missus' YouTube account. I'm telling you, man. Seamus Coleman is the man to bring us silverware. Listen, right?
I'm pretty sure for the other day when you said about signing him.
Listen to me. I said very simply on a previous show, we need as many leaders as we can in that team to stage a title charge next season. And I said, Seamus Coleman can come in. He's a better crosser of the ball than Wan-Bissaka and could easily play 20, 25 games a season for us and ends career with us. I would have no issue with that. I know we need Trippier, and I wouldn't have no issue with the Trippier either. And I know Beth is, I'm not going to say you're a massive Trippier fan, but you seem to have the inside track on Trippier sometimes.
Oh, God.
Are you up to date?
Jay,
Yes.
Johnny Moss is your missus. She just put a fake name on YouTube. I'm telling you. Nobody, apart from you, nobody has ever said that Seamus Coleman is the man to bring us silverware.
I'll say it. Seamus Coleman is the man to bring us silverware.
Yeah.
No, I've been misquoted. Come on, I've been misquoted. I never said the word silverware. I said a title charge. And he could play 20, 25 games. There are my words. Right, Beth, tomorrow, you are the manager tomorrow. You're in charge. Who's your 11?
Team Beth.
Before I answer this, I just want to ask you one question, Jay. Does Seamus Coleman get into the United's first team over Wan-Bissaka for you?
No, he's backup. He's a backup right back.
Oh, right.
That's the whole concept.
Okay.
He was backup. I said, listen to me.
What you meant?
I said,
right back was going to take us to the title
backup.
charge.
No. What I said was, yeah, go.
Right, Henderson in net because I think De Gea is going to play the Europa League final, so that's set in stone. Then I'd still play Wan-Bissaka, I'd play Lindelof, Tuanzebe and Shaw because the back 4 have got to get used to each other for the final because they've not had much time together and they've looked shaky since Maguire's been out, so they've got to get used to each other. It depends what pivot Ollie's going to play for the Villarreal final. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Matic in there due to Maguire being out for some leadership, but if you are going to play McTominay and Fred in the Europa League final, which he probably will do, then I'd go for probably Matic and Pogba in the pivot. I'd play Bruno in front of that with maybe Dan James on the left, or if he's going to play one of the young kids like Sharataya or Hannibal on the left, Greenwood on the right. Oh, I forgot that. Cavani. I don't want to play Cavani. No, Greenwood up front.
Can't pick Cavani.
Yeah, Greenwood up front and then Ahmad on the right. That's how I would go with it because I think Cavani needs to definitely be rested. And I think the pivot that he's going to play needs to be rested because that's a massive role. But also, I still think certain players need match rhythm and they need to get that winning form because we've seen what the players can be like when they have a bit of time off. They can look a bit rusty. And I think to play through it and then go into the final would be better for some of the players. But players like Cavani, that's obviously a little bit older and injury prone. He needs to be wrapped in cotton wool, exactly like Kev said. Rashford, if he plays anymore, he's going to break the kid. I mean, he does not look like anything like the Rashford that we know. So I think he just needs some rest. And honestly, I'd be tempted to not even start him in the final because of how injured he looks when he's playing. He does not look like himself. But that back 4, I think the back 4 that starts at Wolves has got to be the back 4 that starts in the final because they need to get used to each other. And I do agree with Alex. I don't know who said it, but whether Tuanzebe is going to play or not in the final, I think that'll be a big giveaway on what the back 4 is tomorrow for me. And my last point, just to get it in, is that Ollie being second with this team I think that's this team's absolute potential. I think he's done a great job to get us to second, and you don't just get that on Vibes FC. That's all I want to say on that one.
Alex, manager, who's your 11?
I was going to say the same thing about the defence playing together, but then likewise with that, the goalkeeper I count as part of the defence, so I'd start De Gea as well.
Come on.
But so I'd have De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Twanzebe, Shaw, and then in midfield, Matic and Van der Beek, because I am going to rotate the rest of the team. Matic and Van der Beek. Number 10, Mata. Left wing, Dan James. Right wing is going to be whoever is out of Rashford and Greenwood, whoever's starting the final. The one that isn't, I'll play in this game. So most likely Rashford, I'm guessing. And then, one of them, the striker. And then Ahmad on the right wing. I made the same mistake as well.
I forgot about Van der Beek. I would start him tomorrow. I forgot about him.
Van der Beek not even getting in this game. It's disgraceful.
Jordan,
Jay, can I pick you up on something?
Go ahead.
Sorry, Chris C on the screen. I
know what you're going to do.
Yeah. He says, is it lighting or does Jay need to calm down on fake tan? So the question needs to be thrown out to you, Jay.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you 100%. Listen,
I'm talking
honestly.
now, Jay. You wait, sunshine. Have you been to Tantastic today?
No, not today. But my daughter is upstairs with my ring. My daughter is upstairs with my ring light. So I'm sitting here with an actual lamp literally between my legs, shining up for the light. So that's why. There's a reason.
Fake tan you're using because I need a bit of
light. There's a reason. Okay. Right. After that bombshell, and my former bromance partner Kevin Ashford, I hence former bromance partner because we're breaking up now, mate. Jordan, you're starting 11.
Hello. Yeah, I agree with Beth. I think she hit the nail on the head there. The back five need to play that's playing in the final. It's about rhythm, about more momentum. So I'd definitely like to see the starting back five for the final playing. You've got a free Van der Beek. Let the man live. Let him see grass. Cavani and Matic need to go on a spa day and just rest for the final because I'd like to see both of them out there. Ahmad, I'd like to see him get 70, 90 minutes under his belt as well. Bruno, I would, again, I think somebody made the point earlier. It might be Kev. I would love to rest Bruno for the final, but yeah, that Wayne Rooney thing of you're just not going to rest him. He's going to want to play every game that he's fit and he can play. So yeah, I want to see a mixture of the final team and then players that deserve to get a game that haven't really had many minutes.
Joe manager, 11.
Yeah. I'd be similar to you guys, but obviously I'd have De Gea in goals because I feel he's starting the final, and then at least centre backs. I think it'll be Lindelof and Bailly. I think so for the final. So I want them, at least those three playing together. And then the Luke Shaw, I think, needs to be rested. I think he's been run ragged. I think Wan-Bissaka's played every second, basically, of every game. I think he needs to be rested. I think they're fine. I think they'll be all right. With Brandon Williams and with Tellez coming in, they need minutes as well in case they get called upon in the final. And then Van der Beek, absolutely, give the man captain, bow down to him, let him on, give him 90 minutes, let him run around after the match is over. Just give him as much time as he wants. Alongside Matic, because he's not going to be playing. Unlike Jordan, I do not want to see him playing in the Europa League final. He's going to get destroyed, I think, in that final if he's playing. I just don't think he has the legs. I think he's great for the last 30 minutes if we need him. So I think he should play, get minutes under his belt, and then come in. And then Bruno's going to have to play because he'll tell them he's playing. And then the front three, Ahmed, Greenwood, and maybe Solskjaer as well. Throw him up there.
Okay, I've got David in goals, Williams, Tellez, Axel, and Bailly. Then I've got Donny and Matic. I agree regarding Bruno, but I wouldn't start him. I bring him on maybe for 20-25 minutes. I stick Mata in his cam because it's probably going to be his last game for the club. I see him go. I see Mata gone in summer. Yeah. And I also see Matic gone, so I would give them their final swan song. Up top, it's got to be Mason. Then on the right, I'd probably just give Dan James a run out because he's probably, sitting there on the bench assigned to Hedgehog and his legs are kind of going like a hamster on a wheel. So I reckon he's mad for a little run. So stick him on the wing, and I wouldn't be adverse to having Solskjaer or Ahmed on the other wing. I probably would see Bruno coming on because Bruno, as you said, he just tell them, I'm bloody playing, I want minutes. So yeah, that'd be on my 11. It's playing it relatively safe, but who knows tomorrow? It's going to be completely different from Solskjaer. I reckon he'll start Dino on goals, personally.
Yeah,
There's a comment here from Roger Benjamin. Good, proper soap-star name, Roger. Jay, thank you for remembering Johnny Dexter. Do you reckon Cavani could be our Hamish McTavish? Do any of you know?
None of that makes sense to me.
Who Johnny Dexter was? Any of you?
No.
Did we not have this on our show the other night? Is this the same
we
name?
We did. Johnny Dexter was in a comic called Royal Rovers back in the 80s. He was like a Roy Keane, no-nonsense centre mid. And
a bit like
his whole storyline was who the hell would he smash today? But he was like a kind of a total born leader kind of character. I think the super chats are they're up to date. So guys, moving on. We're done. Moving on from tomorrow. If we come out of tomorrow with, say, we go tomorrow and it's the same underwhelming performance that we experienced against Fulham, what effect do you think, and I'll open this to the floor, what effect do you think that will have on team morale only 3 days before Europa League final?
I think it all depends on how the game goes. If we lose 2-0 and we're starting with the defence that we all think with the 2 starting centre-backs, and maybe it's a different goalkeeper, but I think that would be bad. But if it's just kids playing, they're getting a run out, I really don't think that's going to affect too much. I think most of the guys have had this game, the mind in the final since about 4 or 5 games ago. Mm-hmm. And I think they're setting up for that. I mean, again, like I said the other day, it might just be wishful thinking, but I don't think this game holds too much weight. I think it's still just to get minutes and get a bit of fitness up before the final, no matter what. A victory, it will be different though. It means everything then.
One thing that's being missed as well, which I don't know will play a factor, is obviously this is going to be Nuno's last game, and it's going to be the first time Wolves have fans back. So I think both of them could play a factor in it being a hard game.
Question to the floor. Another one to the floor. Whom out of that Wolves side would you take? You can take 2 players from that Wolves side to the floor. Who would you take? Beth, you go first.
I would take, oh my God, this is so hard. Probably Adama Traore and Pedro Neto.
Yeah. Good call.
Neto 100%. Yeah. Maybe Connor Cody as well.
Cody, I was going to say.
Yeah, he's good.
Good call. Good call on Connor Cody. Yeah.
Jordan, you seem upset by that.
Go on, Jordan. Jordan's getting lit here.
Neto definitely, but Traore is Dan James with muscles and baby
oil.
God, I don't see an end.
Oh, he is. I'm on Jordan's side on that one. I'm on Jordan's side.
I'm not having it.
Have you ever seen Dan James dribble around a player in your life?
I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
I've seen him score an assist in this Premier League season, though. Adama Traore has one goal, I think.
No, but no.
The man wears baby oil on his arms.
If you're a winger, guys, right? Listen, if you're a winger, your primary objective, beat the fullback, put a cross in the box. Right? Yeah. How many times this season has Dan James achieved that feat?
Not
Ricky
many.
could tell you.
I bet he could. But Adama Traore, he's a speed merchant. Yes, he has a small, tiny little bit of muscle mass up top, to be fair. Tiny little bit. But he beats the fullback, puts a cross in the box. And, back around the season, we've been saying that our strikers don't get service. No. Picture the scene, Adama Traore beating his fullback 3-4 times a game and knocking a ball in for Cavani, but Cavani's movement. I'd take that every day of the week.
It makes a big difference.
Neves and Neto for me.
Neves is a great shout. I would have said.
Okay, Neves and Neto. Okay, good shout. Kev, who do you take?
Yeah.
Do you know, I like the shout for Connor Cody, but I'm just trying to think, where are we shit at the minute? And I'm thinking, do you know what? Imagine throwing Cody in, alongside Harry Maguire, do whatever with Lindelof to say, see you later, mate. And I've always liked Raul Jimenez as well. I mean, even a couple of years before the horrific injury that he had, and when United were linked with him as well, I thought, final piece of the jigsaw. But obviously we got Eddie Cavani. He's
back
coming
next
in
season, by the way. He got word during the week, which is great.
absolute quality at what he does. He reminds me a lot of, and it's not because he wears the stupid wristband and all that, of Luis Suarez. He's a dickhead anyway, but a great player, like, but, you know, he's the kind of, you know, he's one of them players, like, if he's like Luis Suarez, it's like, you know, as a United fan, you think, oh, he's an absolute tool, he's this, that. But if he's on your team, you know, he's your dickhead. You know, he fights for you, he scores goals. He's an absolute fantastic talent.
Like that.
What?
Yeah. A lot of, you know, rival
any of you have
teams.
Sice? He's a baller too. Sice, the defender.
Rodent is a baller.
Yeah, he's an absolute baller.
Yeah.
Alex, who do you have in your team?
Kev, I thought I was going to be unique with my choice and no one would choose him, but Kev took the words right out of my mouth with Jimenez. Like, before we signed Cavani, so we don't really need him now. Jimenez is such a class player. I love him so much. He's like one of my favourite non-United players in the league. He's so good.
If you look at Wolves over the last couple of seasons under the tenure of Nuno, his recruitment of these Portuguese players is nothing short of astounding. Yeah, but
I wonder how he gets
Portuguese. But it's been a Portuguese kind of almost armada coming to Wolves the last couple of years, and Wolves as a club, I think, not this season they have been fantastic, but last season I thought Wolves played some great football. I was very, very impressed with them.
The reason they're bad this season is because they haven't had Jimenez. If they'd have had Jimenez, they'd have been right.
100%.
And they sold Matt Doherty.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yes. Actually, to be fair, Matt Doherty should never have went to Spurs.
No.
I thought that was a crazy move for him because the system that Nuno plays suited Matt Doherty to a T, 100%. Yeah. But look, tomorrow, tough game. It's case like tomorrow, guys. We never touched on a point that we still have this unbeaten away record, right? That could take us into next season, and then we'd overtake that amazing juggernaut of a club, Arsenal. And I'm actually amazed at Zayn Miasi tonight. It's the first time I've ever done a show that Zayn hasn't been in the comments. So I'm sure we see him tomorrow. But tomorrow, guys, you know, but, you know, tomorrow, losing the unbeaten record, to be honest with you, I know it's a record. It'd be lovely to, you know, overtake Arsenal, but I would take a loss tomorrow over winning on Wednesday night. I'm sure every one of us would.
Of course, absolutely.
I've just seen him in the comments.
No.
Oh, he's come in, is he?
Yeah.
Has he come in?
A credit card, so he just has to put in a free comment.
Oh, I see it here. Zayn's back. Jay, with your current form, lucky you are not playing us. Oh God, in the final. Nuno could be coming to us under the Spotify revolution. Oh, I love the delusion. The delusion is fantastic. But Zayn, thank you for the £10 all the same. Thank you, Dane. One here again, I'll just read it out here from Dre Dev. You guys think United are recruiting to keep playing 4-2-3-1 or have the option to go back to 4-3-3? Good question. Who wants to take that before we wrap up?
I think we're not really that strongly linked. The people we're linked with aren't really a central defensive midfielder, so I think we are going to stick with McFred next season, as depressing as that is. I really think that's what we're going to do, and that they're going to try to sign Sancho, and then a centre-back looks like the priority after Sancho.
I agree, Alex. I think as much as we know the flaws in McFred, I think Ollie likes playing with them two defensive midfielders and then more attacking players up the pitch. I think that is a formation he's going to stick with. That's why I want Sancho to go on the wing, and that's why he's wanted him for a while. I don't think McTominay and Fred are good enough to play that role, but if Ollie does, then Ollie does, and it looks like he does because he's always on about a striker instead of a midfielder, isn't he?
It's actually a very, very good question. Very good, very pertinent question, and I agree. I think Solskjaer is going to keep us in the 4-2-3-1. I would call it right now the straitjacket. But if we got a CDM beside one of McFred and a winger, that formation over the course of 38 games could actually work. Will it make us win a title? I don't think so, but that's me.
Do you remember when
all right, guys? So go. I don't want to sign off, but if you want me to keep going,
I don't have a pizza on the way or anything.
Ollie after the Roma game in his interview was saying that the reason because obviously Robbie Savage was saying he's got to take one of McFred off at half time if they want to win this game, and we came back and won like, what was it, like 6-2 or something like that. And he was saying the reason he plays him is he's got to have balance, and he's got enough attacking players on the field to win the game despite having McFred on there. So I think he generally does believe in McFred in that team. That's what I think he thinks. But anyway, you have to sign off now, Jay.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow evening for our fan forum post-match. Hopefully we're celebrating a win, and with a bit of luck we might play some of the young lads and we might see some superstars in the making. Have a good night, guys, and we'll see you all soon.